Let me put you on game. Don't listen to people who lose or you'll do the same. Stop talking to people who don't give a f*** what you saying. Stop spending your money on weed, go hop on a plane. Stop pointing the fingers.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Pursuit of Wealth podcast. Today, our guest is Adrian. Adrian is an agent with the Perry Group here in Salt Lake City, Utah. His story is phenomenal. He's only been in real estate for 5 years. He's climbed the ladder. He's one of the top agents here with the Perry Group. So we're going to get to know him a little bit more, and hopefully we can have some golden nuggets to share with you guys. So Adrian, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? Where did things start for you?
Yeah, so I was raised in Utah, so I'm a Utahn, but I was born in Peru.
Oh, wow.
So I'm Peruvian.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. What are you, by the way?
Idaho Falls, Idaho.
No, but what's your ethnicity? You're not white.
No, I'm half Mexican.
Okay. So you're a half-breed. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm Peruvian. But my parents immigrated to the States when I was 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
We spent about a year in California, but then moved to Utah. So essentially Utah my whole life. So grew up in Provo. Wow. Good old Provo, Utah.
How was that journey? Have your parents shared anything about that journey from Peru to the U.S.?
It was definitely a lot hard. Let's just say it was definitely a lot harder to get into the country back then than it is now. We don't have to go into that. But they sacrificed everything. They left everything, their entire life behind, which I am eternally grateful for. I don't know if it's something that I would even have myself, in me to do. So the fact that they took that jump and took that risk to move into a country that they had really no connections, nothing at all, just for mine and my siblings, best fortune and opportunities, then, it's just like, it's life-changing.
That's crazy. How many siblings do you have?
4.
And so where are you at?
I'm in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got 2 twin little sisters, and then an older brother and an older sister.
Okay.
So
did they make that journey with all of you? Or
it was we're all here, right? But I think we come over in waves.
Okay.
It wasn't something that was just super coordinated or easy.
Yeah, that's so crazy, and I love hearing that because that's probably played a factor into you succeeding in your journey to where you're at now. Because looking back, you probably appreciate the opportunities that you have more than others.
I would agree with that for sure. I think perspective of what my life would have been if I would have grown up in Peru versus growing up here is where that gratefulness comes.
Yeah.
I almost wish some people that were born and raised here, I don't know if you were born and raised here, but people that in this country, youth in this country, I feel like take that for granted a lot more, aren't as proud to be American or proud or grateful for the opportunities that we have here.
Yep. I
feel like a lot of our youth, especially now, focus on all the negative in our country, which, our country isn't perfect. We've got our fair share of issues, but I say this all the time and people probably think I'm ignorant, but the USA is number one, baby. It really is. Name another country where, people are literally dying to get here for their children to give them a better life.
100%.
Are we perfect? Hell no. We've got so many issues.
Yeah.
But it's the best shot out there.
Oh, 100%. No, and I love that you said that. Like, I was born and raised here. Cool. But I see that perspective too. I'm like, I wish people understood how big of an opportunity. I've gone to other countries, and I think a lot of that comes from people that haven't traveled outside the U.S.
That's huge.
Because they're like, they don't know anything else. They don't know those other perspectives. And so I'm like, it's so good to go to different countries and see how people live and understand like how grateful you should be to be here. Like our poverty levels here are nowhere near, like they're kind of like luxury levels in other places.
Bro, no poverty. I'm not trying to sound insensitive to the less fortunate here in the U.S., but there's government programs out here that will take care of you, especially in like states like California. Yeah. Right. Where you can kind of get paid to be homeless. It's kind of gotten to that. Right.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. I think people can definitely get in bad situations here in the U.S. as well, but they call it the land of opportunity for a reason.
For sure.
Your life is what you make it.
Yep.
Here, I feel like 100%. In other countries, maybe not.
Yeah.
Because those opportunities aren't there.
Yeah.
Here, you write your life. You're the author.
Yeah. Nobody's telling you what you have to grow up and be.
Nope.
So it's super cool. So you come here when you're 3.
Mm-hmm.
You're in California for a little bit, and then you move to Provo. You said.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How was it growing up here in Utah?
Are you from here?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, it's different. Where are you from?
Idaho. So
okay.
Similar cultures Yeah. So I spent a lot of time in Utah.
Okay.
But,
So yeah, some similar cultures, but well, for people who don't know, Utah very conservative, very Mormon, right?
Yeah.
Now times that by 100, and you've got Provo, right? Provo is like by far the most conservative. BYU's in Provo,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know,
There's not even a Starbucks in Provo, right?
I think there might be now.
Okay.
No, there is.
Okay.
There is.
I was
Maybe
like,
for a while there wasn't.
I don't think at one point we were in Provo one time looking for a Starbucks and there wasn't one. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
I mean, there's definitely coffee shops. It's made some strides, but it's still a bubble. But growing up, it was a good place to grow up. It has been voted. I don't mean to talk shit on. I'm not allowed to swear. Sorry.
No, yeah, you're fine.
on Provo, but like it really is a great place to raise a family.
Yeah.
Like, and they've been voted that.
Yeah.
Year after year, I think for the last like 4 years.
Yeah.
That's number one place in the U.S. city to raise a family.
Wow.
So I was surrounded by a lot of really good influences, a lot of friends, things like that. I played sports, I did music, but it was overall pretty good experience growing up in Provo.
Did you play any sports in high school and stuff?
Yeah, I played football.
Okay.
For 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a center.
And then you also played the piano, right?
Yeah.
You're a musician and okay. What instruments do you play?
Well, piano I've only been playing for the last 5 years.
Okay.
So I actually started when I started real estate. When I started playing piano.
Wow.
I played guitar growing up. Though we did not have a lot of money growing up, so getting piano lessons was not an option.
Yeah.
Buying a piano, yeah, right. But guitars are one of the cheapest instruments or hobbies you can pick up. I was always super drawn to music. I'm very passionate about music, rock music to be more specific.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to be like those guys. So I started playing guitar.
Yeah.
Played guitar for like 10 years. And then kind of got into my adulthood. Still played guitar, but kind of took a little bit of a backseat. And then as I started kind of expanding my musical journey, I was starting to produce music actually for a while.
Okay.
But I realized really quick where I had these tunes or these notes and things in my head that I wanted to write, but I didn't know my way around a keyboard. So that's delayed me a lot.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just take piano lessons for a year, learn the fundamentals, then I'm going to go back to producing music.
Yeah.
So I sold all my production stuff, didn't have a lot of money at that time. So I had to sell all that stuff. And I just bought a keyboard, hired some guy in Salt Lake to give me, 30-minute lessons every week. And then after a year, I fell in love with classical music.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a big classical music nut.
Okay.
And I never went back to producing music.
Really?
I play piano now. I play classical piano.
Yeah.
I listen to classical music. I bought my first grand piano last year.
That's awesome.
So piano, that's like definitely my one of my passions.
That's your hobby.
Yeah.
That's what you do on your spare time. So what growing up, like after high school, what was life like? Did you go to college? Did you go right into the workforce?
I did go to college for a week.
Okay, impressive. A week?
Lasted a week. Good thing I quit quick though, because I didn't have to pay them anything. If I would have quit like halfway through the semester, I wouldn't have to pay for that shit.
I got a full refund.
Exactly. So I went to UVU, and I was never really. I guess let me reword this. I was only good at the things I wanted to be good at.
Okay.
And our school system in high school, that's just not how that works, right? You have your I don't know what they call them, generals, right?
Yeah.
Your electives, the things you have to take.
Yeah.
Hated math, hated science. I was good at like creative writing, PE, and like my music classes.
Yeah.
Like that, and like I like to cook too, so like the home ec stuff. But I hated everything else.
Yeah.
So like I was not the best student in high school, and then went to college because as a child of an immigrant, right? That's the thing. Like, what's the push you do? Go to school, get a degree, do the thing. So, I didn't want to let my parents down, so I enrolled to UVU, and I didn't even know what I was going to school for. It was law enforcement.
Okay.
God bless our officers in uniform, but I learned how much they made, and I was like, I don't want to be a cop.
Yeah. And how
they're way underpaid, but.
How was that? Because there's probably especially with your family story, coming here for that opportunity and you not deciding you don't want to go to college. How was that? Was it an easy conversation for you to have with your parents?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about my parents is they're very supportive in anything that I do, and in good times of my life and in bad times of my life, they're always supportive. Now they're going to express their concerns.
Yeah.
But it's not. They have never been people to make me do something or force me to do something.
Yeah.
And honestly, I have this chainable free spirit that like even if they tried, I'd be like, nah, I'm gonna do what I want. Right. So so I tried to basically tried college for about a week. I bought the damn books and everything. I remember they were expensive.
Yep.
And I literally left one night because I was working during the day. So I left at night and I was like, I hate this. Like I think it was after a math class. I was like, I'm not doing this shit. I don't want to do this. I can go do something else. I shouldn't have littered. But I literally was driving and I threw out the books out the window.
Dang.
And I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to college. College is just not for me. And and then I quit college.
Where were you working at the time?
I think at the time I was working at a tech software company, Property Solutions. Well, it's called Entrada now.
Entrada, okay.
It's at the point of the mountain in Lehigh.
Okay.
It's a property management software. I did tech support for them. So it was just on the phones, you know. And I think I worked at like Gold's Gym before it was Vasa.
Okay.
For a while, I was super into like fitness and stuff during that time.
Yeah.
And so
working like the front desk at
yeah, essentially. I was cleaning up weights, stuff like that. Nothing too exciting.
So you're working like 2 jobs and you were going to school. Okay. So what led to your getting into real estate? Like where'd you go from those 2 careers?
So before I even jumped to real estate, I got into sales.
Okay. Doing what?
Selling credit repair on the phone.
Okay.
So I wanted to get into sales. I felt like I would be good at it. So at the current company that I was at, Entrada, I was in the tech support business.
Yeah.
But the sales department was like in the other building, and I was like, I'm gonna go talk to him. I mean, I've been there for a few years. I'm like, hey guys, like I think I'd be good at sales. Like I feel like I want to get into this. Like where can I apply? They asked me, do you have a bachelor's degree? I said, no. Sorry, you can't sell. I was like, I can't sell because I don't have a bachelor's degree. So I said, screw this company. Yeah. I quit. And first off, you can't sell if you don't have a bachelor's degree. I think that's stupid. Yeah. I will outsell everyone in the room and you can have your master's. I don't give a shit. Right.
Yeah.
And so I quit because that kind of pissed me off and I kind of, was resentful towards the company. And then I went and got this, my first sales job, which they hired without experience, called Progression Marketing in Provo.
Okay.
They're the marketing company for Lexington Law, which is a credit repair company, and you sell on the phones. Okay. You do consultations for people who have inaccuracies or fraud on their credit or just need things removed from their credit report or trying to pay off debt, it was credit consultation.
Okay. And you guys basically take care of that credit repair for them.
Yeah.
For
So I didn't. Yeah. The company did. I would just sign them up, close them, and then they go to their paralegal and their team to help them clean their credit.
Awesome.
So I found out really quick I was good at sales.
Yeah. What'd you do? How long were you there?
I was there for like 3.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your first year like? What'd you do there?
Yeah. Wow. Let's see. So, I mean, on a good day, like a decent agent sold maybe 3 to 5 deals a day. The good ones did 10 plus.
Wow.
And so I was around like the 10 to 15 range a day kind of thing.
Okay.
I had no responsibilities.
What kind of commissions would you get off that?
Very little, $25 a deal.
Oh, wow.
All right, but that stacks up if you're doing 10 every single day, right? So I was making decent money, and it was the first time I had gone full commission. There was no safety net, no salary or anything like that, and it was sink or swim. And I just constantly see people get hired, fired, leave, or not fired, but they just leave because they weren't making any money.
Yeah.
And I just had a knack for it. I think my communication skills, especially over the phone, because that's hard.
Yeah.
It's an art, honestly. Would played into a lot of that, and I became a sales coach eventually.
Really,
to coach people how to sell on the phones.
It's a lot. What I've learned about phone sales, it's a lot of like inflections and stuff like that when you're
pausing, listening, active listening, fluctuation of your voice, which helped a lot and translated a lot into real estate. But then it also, my learning curve was in person, body language, distance, you know, kind of stuff like that.
Interesting. So you were there for 3 years. That's so hard for somebody in that kind of field. I feel like nowadays people turn over jobs so frequently.
That was me before that. That was aside from real estate, that was the longest job I ever had.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kept you there for 3 years?
The money.
Just
the money. Okay. Well, 2 things actually. The money and the people.
Okay. Culture.
I'm not going to lie. I don't really like the company.
Yeah.
The culture sucked.
Oh, really?
Because the difference between culture and people.
Yep.
The culture was horrible.
Okay.
The management didn't give a shit. The people were incredible. I made some of my longest lasting friendship. People I still talk to, people that I've actually brought onto the Perry Group.
Really?
2 of the agents I originally met at that job, we all got into real estate. Now we're here.
That's awesome.
So, and I don't know why I'll save this one for last, but I met my wife there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So the people were incredible, but the company wasn't great. So that was the reason I stuck around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you go right from there to real estate, or was there a step in between?
There was a little gap between there. So my buddy it was a small little tech startup company. He wanted me to kind of build the sales department out of it. And I was young, again, no responsibilities, kind of burning out of the phone sales thing. Even though I was making good money, my head was like fried. You know, being on the phones for 8 hours a day is a lot.
Yeah.
And so he was like, hey, I'm doing this company. Come build the sales department for me.
Yeah.
You can train them. You can do this. But he was like, I can only pay you like $25K a year. I'm like, screw it. Let's go. Yeah. So because I was ready to learn. Yeah. And I was willing to take the income and the money, a back seat. Yeah. For the value that I was going to gain from knowing how to run a business. I finally, at one point, it was complete different companies that I worked for. At Progression, I was just a number. Yep. No say, no push on nothing. Versus a startup, I have a seat at the table. Like every day I show up and I'm like, how am I going to build this business? How are we going to innovate? How are we going to get sales? Hiring, logistics.
Brought out the creative side of you.
Exactly. And so it was cool. And then long story short, that crashed and burned in about less than a year. Wow. Okay. But I learned a ton. And then during that time, my buddy that essentially wanted me to go help him build that company had his real estate license part-time. Okay. And he's like, hey, let's get into real estate. And I was like, okay. So as the ship was kind of, sinking, I got my real estate license. I did the course while I was still working there. Yeah. And then I got licensed and I quit, and I had like $500 in my bank account, and I got a deal in my first month. Wow. Being solo? Did you go start out solo? Solo. Yeah. Me and him basically. Okay, so cool. We were a team, but pretty solo.
So how long did you do that? How long was it before you joined the Perry Group?
About 2 years. Okay. I'm about to hit 3 years with the Perry Group this fall.
Cool. How was your first year in real estate?
I did, my first year technically was 6 months because I got licensed in like May or June. Okay. I did 12. Wow. Yeah, my first impressive. 6 months. Yeah. It was, I don't know, like honestly how that happened. I mean, I had always been kind of heavy on social media, not in a sense of like following or influencer stuff, but I just post my life, right? Yeah. So I interact with a lot of people online and, kind of getting the word out that I was getting into real estate, and I guess it paid off. So was
all that mostly referral SOI stuff?
It was about half and half. The team was buying leads. So, I was kind of dabbling into both.
That's incredible.
So that helped, kind of build a quick book of business. Sure. Things kind of took a left turn with that company, and I got to the point where I didn't really want to be helping anyone build a team. Yeah. I kind of just wanted to be like a high producing agent on a good team. Yeah. And so when I started feeling like that, I was like, I had met Michael and Jack and Mason Conley at the time through a Zillow convention.
Oh, really?
Zillow Unlock in Vegas. Okay. Because they were also buying Zillow leads. Yeah. So, we had interacted a few times. I'd seen kind of what they were doing, and I was like, I wonder what these guys are doing. At this time, keep in mind, they had maybe like 10 agents. Yeah. Okay. They weren't that big of a team, but they were starting to build some momentum. So I had 3 different teams that I was like, okay, I'm going to set up interviews, see what's up, see which one's the best. I had one phone call with Michael, Jack, and Ashley, who was Michael's assistant. Okay. At that time, she was the operations manager. And the next week, I quit the team and went to the Perry Group.
Really? Yeah. How was that? So how far into your second year did you get with that other team? Did you do a full year with them?
No, the first team I did about 1.5 years to 2 years. Okay. Yeah, so I've been with the Perry Group now for 3 years, so about 5 years total.
How was your second year in real estate production-wise?
I think I did it was in the 20s. I think I did like 27, 28, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. What about first year with the Perry Group?
What's crazy is, when I quit the other team and went to the Perry Group, I quit at the end of quarter 3. And so I was basically starting fresh quarter 4 in the Perry Group. Yeah. And I had a good year, consistent year, quarter 1 to quarter 3. I made more money in quarter 4 than the entire other 3 quarters just with the Perry Group. Wow. It was a complete shift. I didn't know the grass was greener.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
Yeah.
What sold you on after meeting with the Pair Group?
I heard the passion in their voice.
Yeah.
I heard the passion in Michael and Jack's voice, and I think they tried their best to show me their vision of what they wanted to build, and it just exhilarated me. I was just like, I was just coming off a team basically that was just like draining me. Like I was making good money, selling houses, yada yada. I was also the top agent there, and it's, in my opinion, it's never good to be the best one in the room. Like I want to be the worst one in the room, because then I can learn from everyone else around me, right?
100%.
So no one was pushing me, no one was really driving me to be better. And then I get to the Perry Group and there's hitters.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, these guys can throw. And so like I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to be a part of that environment.
Exactly. So I felt their energy, I saw their vision and their ambition, and I was like, dude, sign me up. I don't give a shit. Like if this doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out, but it worked out.
Yeah. So what'd you end up doing that next full year with the Perry Group production?
First full year with the Perry Group. I pull up my thing. No, I did first full year with the Perry Group. I think I did 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
I jumped from like 27 to 40.
Almost doubled it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a total difference. But the big difference in the two is the price points were a little higher.
Really?
Just
higher with the Perry Group. They seem to have a brand that's more
luxury.
Yeah.
Or higher level of service, right?
Yeah.
And they're in the expensive zip codes. I mean, Sugar House, Liberty Wells, Yale, stuff like that, Olympus Cove. I had my first $1 million listing with them. I've had countless $1 million deals since then.
Yeah.
And it's because of the room that I put myself in, right?
Yeah.
And they got me in the room with the people who were spending that money, right?
Yeah.
So
how was your journey with the Perry Group going from, because you've been with them for 3 years, and obviously when you joined, they were at 10 agents,
right?
Whatever. You guys are at 80 or so agents.
Something crazy like that.
How has that journey been? I know that, like, because I've grown a team as well, and I know that
Cool.
It can be frustrating for agents that get on early, because it's like there is a lot of things that change and transition. How's that experience been with you?
I don't think Michael and Jack were ready for how fast this thing was going to blow up.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone could be, honestly. So hats off to them for just, basically just going for it. Right.
Yeah.
I think they've done as best as they can. I don't think anyone's perfect, and I don't think any real estate company is perfect. But one thing that has always, in my opinion, been consistent from the beginning is they give a shit about their people.
Yeah.
Do they make mistakes? For sure. But they give a shit about their people. Yep. And their intention is, we want the company to grow. We want you guys to grow, not just as salespeople, but as individuals.
Yep.
And that is what's personally kept me around.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And because being a top producing agent, what'd you do last year with the Perry Group?
So my best year, it was 2020. What year is it? 2021.
Yeah.
I did 48.
Wow.
So that my second year, so I jumped from 40 to 48.
Okay.
And then last year I did 35.
That's awesome.
So I did less.
But that was with a trending down market, essentially, majority of the year. And
sure. I mean, I don't make that excuse though.
Yeah.
It's funny because about a year ago, that probably would have beat me up a lot.
Yeah.
Like mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much anymore. Last year, so the year I did 48, I was making a ton of money.
Yeah.
Closing a ton of deals, but I was like dead inside.
Yeah.
Like my mental health, like money, career, wealth is here. My mental health was like on the ground.
Gotcha.
Really bad place. And so the reason I feel like I engulfed myself so much into my work was because it's the only sense of accomplishment that I was feeling at the time, because everything else was so bad.
Yeah. It's almost an escape.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just kept focusing on that because that's the good. I don't want to deal with the bad.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where the bad was just boiling over into everything, and it was affecting my daily life, my relationships, and my work eventually, right? So last year in February, I just hit a year. I started going to therapy. And started doing the hard work, the interpersonal work that needed to be done from just past traumas and things that happened to me in my childhood. And so I focused, my business essentially took second place, took a little bit of a back seat.
Yeah. Because
I needed to fix what was going on up here.
Yeah.
Because if I can't be here for myself, I can't show up for anyone else.
For sure.
So big focus for me last year was therapy, men's coaching group that I joined, the We Are the They group, and just personal development. And I still did 35, so I'm proud of that.
100%.
But it was a big year for me last year on a different level.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that you recognize that, because a lot of people get caught up in the journey of just making more money, you know, at the expense of anything.
Yeah.
Like, you don't care what the relationships are like and stuff like that. But you took a backseat. You realize, like, from a higher level, yeah, I'm making great money, but I feel like this level of my life isn't where it needs to be. And you're willing to take a backseat on your career for a little bit, and not a backseat. I mean, you still crushed it. 35 deals is great.
Right.
But you're willing to put in the work and the time to get that life where you want it to be.
Yeah, I call it being strategically unbalanced. Like this thing where everyone's like looking for like work-life balance or balance in life, I think it's kind of bullshit, honestly.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's okay to be unbalanced, but it has to be strategic, right? Because if I was working so much on like my personal health and having fun with the We Are the They group and going on these trips, but like I'm not working, then like that's hurting now too. So that's not okay.
Yep.
Right. But I was my income was here and mental health was here. So I had to be strategically unbalanced, put more of my energy to bring this up. So then this had to go down naturally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But once I can get all my levels kind of at least in like a good maintenance level, I can now be more strategically unbalanced and focus on closing homes this year and scaling my business.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that. So it's like cranking levers.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you're here now, I can crank this lever back up.
Exactly. It's, this one needs a little, this one, watch out. Exactly.
You're
like
just tweaking
strategically unbalanced.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy. So how has the coaching group been that you're a part of? I know I've seen the We Are the They group. I see the cool, exciting trips that you guys go on.
Yeah.
What have you found to be the most beneficial part of that?
I think it's the most beneficial part of that group is getting in a room with 50 other men that all want to better themselves, for their families, and for the world.
Yeah. It's powerful.
And a lot of, and kind of our three pillars of our group is we're men who are vulnerable. We are men of integrity, and oh shit, I'm forgetting the third one. Jimmy's going to kick my ass. Vulnerable, integrity, and I forgot what the other one was, but you get it.
Yeah.
So it's about showing up for yourself, doing the hard work. I feel like it's very taboo for men to get in their feelings and get all soft and stuff. But that's essentially what we do. We do a lot of like group therapy, I guess, if you wanted to bucket it. So and we have a lot of speakers that come in, and we do a lot of interpersonal work to help us be the best people that we can for the people around us and for our contribution to the world. So that's what's been probably the most impactful thing with the group for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. And has that impacted you in your like home life, relationship wise, showing up at home?
Oh yeah. So, I mean, me and my wife's marriage and communication is probably as best that it's ever been.
That's awesome.
Even I would say even better than like when we were dating, because when you're dating, you're all infatuated. It's all like the puppy love stage or whatever, and that's fun and all. But are you married?
Yes.
You're married.
Yes.
How long have you been married?
3 years.
Cool.
But we've been dating since 2014. So.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, a while.
Same. So we've been together for it'll be 7 years, and then married 2 years next month.
That's awesome.
So you kind of get it. You've had a long relationship, and so it's been super life-changing in that sense as well, just because we're human, right? We don't always show up for our partners as best as we can. Sometimes we throw some of our own doubts or negativity or self-limiting beliefs onto them.
Yep. And
so just being able to like talk about things, connect on a different level, communication has just been a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that relay into your business?
Yeah. I mean, totally. I'm kind of a big believer now in like mind, body, and spirit. Like everything kind of needs to be in tune in order for me to show up in my business.
Yeah.
So like, for example, I've got this nutritionist that I work with, and when I'm not eating right or I'm not working out as regularly, it bleeds over to my business.
Yeah.
Right. When I'm not meditating, when I'm not reading, it bleeds over to my business. Like I don't show up as good as I should.
Yeah.
I don't have as much energy. I'm lazier. I have more self-doubt, right?
Yeah.
The imposter syndrome, right? But when I'm doing the things that I need to do to stay balanced in my mind, body, and spirit, it totally bleeds over into my business.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's kind of your daily routine look like for you?
So wake up around like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And then first thing I do is wake up. I get ready and stuff. But I go downstairs, I drink a glass of water, 10 ounces, and then I read 10 pages from a book.
That's awesome.
Right now I'm reading The Way of the Superior Man. Really good one.
I'll have to look that up. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a really good one. And then at that point, I go to the gym. Me and my wife go to this gym called Burn Boot Camp in Highland.
Okay.
And so we work out. It's about 45-minute workout. Then I get ready. And then depending on the day, I'm either coming to Salt Lake or I have appointments, or you know how real estate goes, right?
Yeah.
Just
schedule from there gets kind of hectic.
But I'm a big believer in conquering your morning.
Yeah.
Because as real estate agents, we don't have a ton of structure to our schedule.
Yep.
So if you can't even have like some kind of structure to your morning, it can really feel like the days are just out of whack and just flowing into each other, right? So I think it's really important to have that. And then with going back to conquering your morning, by 9 a.m., I have already done so much shit that like by 9 a.m., I'm sharp.
Yeah.
Right? I've conquered my morning. Like I'm ready to go out there and get what I need to get done. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not like by 9 a.m. still just kind of waking up, drinking my coffee or whatever. Like I'm sharp by that point. And it sucks. I'm really not a morning person. Like I think you choose to be a morning person. You don't become a morning person.
Yep.
Because it's really 5 seconds of shittiness.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
It's like,
once you're up, it's great. But
once you're up,
getting out of bed,
you'll never regret waking up early or going to the gym or doing something good for yourself. Yeah. But it's just those 5 seconds that it's like, okay, either I'm going to do this or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Mel Robbins talks about that 5-second rule, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
You just like talk down from 5 and then just go.
Just go.
It's like, if you do that, because it's like you get past that little point and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. But there's so many times we talk ourselves out of doing what we need to do within that little 5-second time frame.
Exactly.
So many times I'm about to get out of bed, I'm like, but it's really warm. I don't know if I want to do this. But that's so powerful. I think with agents not having a structure in their morning, because it is such an unstructured schedule, there's a fine line between self-employed and unemployment. I talk about it all the time. a lot of agents dabble on the line of being unemployed because they don't have anything to do.
Right.
But if you can win your day, it's going to be so much easier to show up at the office.
Right.
Show up and do your follow-up. Show up and do your prospecting because you've already stacked the wins in your favor.
Right. You've made your bed. You've eaten your food. You went to the gym. You're sharp.
Yeah, I love that. So I love that you've got a morning routine. What do you kind of attribute the success that you've seen in real estate to? Like, what lessons have you learned along this way in sales?
I would say kind of why, I think Michael and Jack have been so successful is you got to give a shit about people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the most recent reel I posted, but like I was saying, like I was talking to realtors and saying like, you don't really have to give a shit about houses to be a good real estate agent. You really don't.
No.
Like I don't. Like I don't have some passion for interior design or anything like that, but I have a passion for helping people.
Yep.
So I would credit my success to I really do want the best for everyone around me, and that includes my clients. That's awesome. So I've talked people out of selling houses. I've talked people out of submitting offers on houses, or just because I didn't think that was the best decision or choice for them. Like, guys, like, listen, you're adults. You can make the decision you want, but like, consider this. Do you still think this is a good idea? And sometimes it's not in my best interest. That means I'm not going to make any money, but I'm in it for the relationships. I'm in it for the longevity of it. I'm not just here for a quick buck to close you.
That's how you become a top agent right there. That's what I try to tell my agents so often, especially new agents. It's like, this is a career. And if you're looking at this as a career, this is a 5 to 10 year play, if not longer. I plan to be in real estate for probably the next 30 years.
Sure.
So it's like, whether I get a commission now or in the future, I don't really care. I want what's best for the client. And the amount of repeat and referral business that's going to come from that, when you have that attitude, is incredible. It'll blow you away.
Totally.
But so many agents talk buyers into buying crappy houses just to get a commission check right then.
Well, we live in a society of instant gratification. Everyone wants the quick money. Everyone wants the quick food, the DoorDash. You click a button and same day Amazon. By the time I get home, I got it on my front doorstep.
Yeah.
No one sees the longevity of it. The down the road, 10, 30, 20 years from now, whatever. They're just looking at the initial payoff, and that's not this game.
No, not real estate. Maybe other sales, maybe like door-to-door sales
or phone sales, right?
Phone sales, yeah.
I'm never talking with people again. That was a quick buck.
Yeah,
right.
How was that going from the phone sales? Because that is a different sell. To you're not selling people in real estate. You're building a relationship. So was was there any lag there of you like trying to sell getting into real estate at all, or was that a
Not
pretty
really,
natural
'cause
transition?
so I guess to backtrack my statement I just made, I still gave a shit about the people I talked to on the phone.
Yeah.
But there's no emotional connection or like relationship that you're building. So that pillar of me caring for people was always there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that transitioned over really, really easily. I think another thing that really helped me with real estate too was my communication skills. So even though it was over the phone, I was learning how to talk to people. I was learning how to fluctuate, pause, listen, active listen, pay attention, everything, right?
Yeah.
And so that translated over really, really well. And then with taking Zillow leads, it initially starts on the phone. So as you know, I see people around me on the team that like were so nervous to be on the phone. Like that was like the most nerve-wracking thing for them.
Yep.
But then when they get in person, it's like, oh, this is chill. I was the opposite.
Yeah.
I was like, I had my script. I was good. Like I knew how to talk to people on the phone. And then when I had to get in person is when I was like Will Ferrell. I was like where do I put my hands?
Like I'm not used to this.
Yeah, I was like, what?
That's the complete opposite from 99% of agents that get into the industry.
Right.
It's like every time a Zillow call comes into my agents, you know, you can tell they're nervous because it's like it's so unnatural. So having that leg up, I think, was huge.
Yeah.
But how'd you learn just getting the body language and the in-person stuff? Was it just kind of over time? Or
yeah, you just find your own style. I want to say I shadowed someone, but I don't think I did. I think I shadowed maybe my buddy once or twice, but like we're not the same.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of learning by action, by doing, you know, and just messing up and, you know, figuring things out. You mess up something enough, you're eventually going to get it right.
Oh, for sure.
Right. So I was just there, just trying to fail forward, trying to fail fast. And I recall like my first listing appointment, horrible, like so bad. It was I think one of the first Zillow calls that I got.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to my Zillow rep. Her name was Audrey. I'm like, Audrey, I've got my first listing appointment. You could tell she was nervous. She's like, really?
It's like, oh, shiz.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's just about putting in the reps. Anything you want to do, whether it's phone sales, real estate, cold calling, piano, right?
Yep.
Or what, basketball, like, you put in the reps. Look at Kobe Bryant. He put in the reps. That's why he was incredible at what he did.
Yeah.
So you put in the reps, you'll figure it out.
Alex Ramosi talks about, he's like, you know, do something so much that it would be unreasonable for you to be bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you take 10,000 phone calls, it would be unreasonable for you not to close deals.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be unreasonable. So
Right.
if you shoot 10,000 free throws, it'd be unreasonable for you not to be good at shooting
Right.
free throws. So it's like do stuff enough that it'd be unreasonable for you not to be successful.
Right.
And just having that mentality, knowing that I'm going to go and I'm going to fail, but I'm going to fail forward.
Right.
I'm going to progress and I'm going to get better because I have that that longevity perspective that this is going to be my career for the long term.
Right.
What was the hardest thing about getting into real estate for you?
I would say the hardest thing about getting into real estate, and maybe something I still deal with now, is just self-doubt, you know, like that imposter syndrome. I was actually talking to my buddy about it. He's in my coaching group last year. I was like, I kind of have this imposter syndrome that like I've done so much. I have such a great track record, but like, was that all a fluke? Was the market just hot?
Yeah.
Am I really not that great? Can I do this again?
Yeah.
Is this the year I go out of business?
Yeah.
So those are questions that are just like, but you can't let them fester, right?
No.
Because if you let them, then you just, right? And so I've been able to kind of train myself to get out of that. But I would say that's the hardest thing for a new agent and even maybe a tenured agent, because you're both kind of feeling the same thing. The new agent's like, shit, I haven't sold any houses. What am I doing? Like, is this really for me?
Yeah.
And then as a tenured agent, again, I like for me, right? Like, I did 48 in 2021, but in 2022 I only did 35.
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Is this the year I go
Is
out?
this all downhill
2023?
for now?
It's all downhill from here, right?
Yeah.
So I try to really shut those voices up and focus on the things I can control, not the things I can't control. So I would say kind of goes back to your mental health. It's literally everything, right? It'll bleed over into everything. So I would say, for new agents, tenured agents, the most difficult thing you're going to deal with is yourself.
Yeah, 100% that voice, and it doesn't go away. Like
No.
I don't think however many transactions you do, because you're always in this industry. You're always like, you close a deal and you've got to be on to another transaction, or where's that transaction going to come from? There's always going to be that doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it does go away. I've only been in real estate for 5 years as well, so
Nice.
Maybe it does go away, but
maybe.
but I'm like, I haven't seen it
Maybe
yet.
for
I still
Michael
have
Perry.
That. Yeah, I think Michael's even
Screw
got
that
that.
guy.
So.
Just kidding.
Is there anything that you would have done differently on your journey through real estate?
That's a good question. Yeah, I wish I would have stayed in contact with all of my past clients more.
Yeah.
I've sold over 200 homes at this point, and I've got like my VIP list of people who I connected with or refer me. It's about 50 clients that I stay in contact with, social media, send them stuff in the mail. But I wish I would have in some way tried to find a way to maybe systemize it or something, but stay in contact with every single day I've done in the past, because it's just like, and it's never too late to start.
No, it's not.
But
I was talking to your sales manager about helping you guys get into a process for that.
Oh, good, Chris.
Yeah,
cool. That would be that's huge, and so I do a decent job at it.
Yeah,
but there's always that thing. I guess I could have done better.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing to focus on, because that again, it's a long term play.
Mm-hmm.
Those clients have just worked with you. They're probably not going to buy or sell for the next 3 to 5 years.
Right, but we're at the 5th year, right?
Yeah, but it comes faster than you think. And it's like, if you had put in that work, what kind of referral repeat business would you be getting right now?
Totally. Oh, you got me thinking. I'm about to call my year 1 and year 2 clients after this.
Yeah,
I have a spreadsheet too.
So if you have
every single close I have.
Yeah.
Every single one. I just haven't done anything with it.
Yeah, we can help you with an SOP on how to do that. But,
dude, that'd be sick.
Yeah, because that's me and that's our focus point. We do a lot of referral repeat business, and that's what we've dialed in, and that's what we try to help our agents do too. Because I know that running agents aren't going to do that follow up, but I know how important it'll be for their career in 3 to 5 years,
right?
If they do that,
right?
Especially a top producer like you that's got 200 homes under their belt,
right?
That you should be getting stuff from that.
One thing that I have done well to kind of maybe counter that is I've stayed in front of my clients, however, in social media.
You've killed it in social media.
Which is thanks. I try. But it's the new way to stay in front of your SOI, right?
100%.
So like out of the about 80 deals that I've done in the last 2 years, only 12 of them have been Zillow deals.
Wow.
The rest have been referrals, past clients, and just word to mouth.
That's massive.
And I totally credit that to social media.
That's awesome.
I really do, just because. So I am staying in contact with people that way.
Yeah.
But there's always more you could be doing.
Yeah. There's probably some clients that maybe aren't as engaged in social media, and so
exactly.
You're missing that. But I think the focus on the strength though, a lot of agents aren't doing the social media aspect either.
Right? So at least I'm doing something.
You're doing the one thing, and I think that's going to be a play for the future. I mean, that's going to be a stronger play for you. If you stay consistent with that.
Totally.
It's a lot of people don't understand the work that goes into creating content.
Oh yeah.
It's a process, and it's a dedication, and to be consistent. It's like you got to block out days, and you got to block out a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like
create a calendar for it.
It's a process. Yeah. And so, a lot of people think they want to, I just want to be a content guy and produce YouTube videos and stuff. And it's like, if you guys saw how much work goes into that, you probably wouldn't want to do it.
It's a lot of work, and I also think it's a lot of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Jack has asked me multiple times, why do you think people aren't doing more social media in our team? And you look at Jack, and like less than a year, he's got like 3,000 followers.
Yeah.
He's killing it.
Yeah.
And I told him, Jack, it's because they don't want to get vulnerable. Because they're scared to be in front of a camera. They're scared to hear what people might say.
Yeah.
Wake up call. No one gives a shit about you. Like they just don't.
It's true,
right?
Yeah.
Like so, like when I post something, I'm like, I don't care if people like this. I don't care if people do. I don't care if people think it's stupid.
Yeah.
Because I know what I'm doing, and I know the vision and the plan that I have. And I know this is going to directly help my business.
Yeah.
So I don't really care to look silly. So I think once you can kind of get past that and put that wall down and be like, hey, camera, like it's cool. Like I'm human. I mess up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, and let's be real, your first pieces of content are probably going to be bad.
Yeah.
Mine were.
Yeah.
If you go back 2 years, my shit was corny.
Yeah.
but when I started getting real in front of the camera,
Yeah.
that's what people relate to in social media.
And the only way you're going to get better is by doing it. Because now you can look back and say, I don't like the way I did that. I'm going to change it.
Totally.
But you're never going to know that if you never put that out.
Exactly.
And so it's like, you just got to get started and get vulnerable. And it is a hard thing to do, but I'm like, it is so the power of social media and content currently, and what I think it's going to be moving forward is if you don't get on that train, like you're going to regret it.
And the train hasn't left yet
It
either.
hasn't. No,
you think
it's
about it,
plenty
like
of time.
just 10 years ago, we didn't have smartphones, bro.
Yeah.
It's only been about 10 years.
Yeah.
It's still, the train's filling up, but it hasn't left.
Yeah. There's still time. You just need to do it. You just need to get started. What's been like, aside from kind of just your struggles in real estate, what has been the most enjoyment that you've seen getting into real estate? Like, what's been?
I would say, I'm not getting choked up. This is weird. I think the differences that you can make in people's lives.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about the house or the money or anything like that. I would say the relationships you can build. Like I guess in two ways that kind of pop in my head right now is there's this couple who I helped buy a house about a year ago probably. Anyway, they were having trouble conceiving. They had been through IVF, all this stuff. And so they were a part of their journeys. They were thinking about adopting. Mm-hmm. And to do that, you got to have a house, right? Like it's a whole process, right? And so it was super important for them to get a house, and I helped them achieve that. And then like 6 months later, I had learned that they had a water line that broke from the house to the street, and it was going to be like $14,000 to fix.
Yeah.
And that just like crushed me because I knew that they were saving up to fly to another country in Europe to do an IVF treatment. This was going to be their last shot to conceive a child. And this was just going to put a hole in it. And so that like broke my heart. And so I was like, I need to do something. Yeah. Like, I remember my wife telling me, she's like, well, it's not your fault. Like, I think she thought like maybe I felt guilty because like the water line broke. She got an inspection or something. I was like, no, that's not it. It's these are good people, and like something shitty just happened to them. And so like we need to do something. And so I started asking every person, every realtor, every loan officer, every group that I had been in for just $20.
Really?
I told them, I typed out this thing, and I told their story. Yeah. And I was like, guys, I'm raising money for them. Like if you can even just do $20. And you know, some people were doing 20, 40, 50. One guy from Intercap did like $250. It started to stack up. I threw in $1,000 of my own money, and I raised $5,000 for them.
That's awesome.
And so being able to go like give them that check was like, it was emotional.
Oh yeah.
And I'm actually having them on my podcast next week.
That's so cool.
So
dude.
it's
I love that.
It's cool. That's the best part of real estate.
It's those relationships that you build that aren't just about selling a house.
No.
It's you find people that you really truly care about, and you get involved with their life. Mm-hmm. Like you're with them typically in a normal market. You're with them for a few months, you know, showing houses and pretty regularly.
Right.
Like, you get attached. We've had clients, you know, message like, we miss you guys. Like, you know, maybe we need to buy another house so we can see you a lot more often.
It's so significant in their lives, but it's short.
It is. But you can get attached, especially in scenarios like that. We've got a situation with clients kind of similar. And it's so cool that you did that. Yeah. You know, a lot of agents would have just kind of walked away and I sold them their house and we're done kind of thing, and they'll figure it out. But it's like, no, you took it upon yourself to like, what can I do to help these guys? Yeah.
We're not in the house selling business. We're in the people business.
100%.
And you care about your people, you care about our community, they'll take care of you.
Yeah. I'm a true believer of you do good in the world and good will come back to you.
Totally.
So I think we're on the same wavelength with that. Is there anything else that you want to share? Any golden nuggets that you've learned over the years? Any experience? Yeah, you're good. Any experience that you have that you want to share with before we wrap things up here?
Any golden nuggets? Sorry, is that vibrating?
It might be.
It's phone. Yours. Yeah. I'm like, is my phone okay? Sorry, ask me one more time.
Just any kind of golden nuggets or life lessons that you've learned along your journey that you want to share before we kind of wrap things up.
I would say to agents, care about your people. Care about your people, and they'll take care of you. And then take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't show up for yourself, and you can't show up for your people.
I love that. That's massive. Because we oftentimes think about the client thing, you know, take care of your people, and I love that. But you can't forget to take care of yourself. Yeah. Or else you're not going to be able to take care of your people to the best of your ability. Right. You know. So, Adrian, it's been a pleasure, man. I think you've dropped a ton of bombs in here. I'm super excited about it. You know, where can people find you? What's your Instagram handle?
Instagram, Adrian Maco _ Utah Realtor. You can find me dancing on TikTok too. Okay. And Facebook, Adrian Maco.
Cool.
And then I'm starting a new podcast, launching here soon. Mindset with Maco. Sign to that on YouTube.
Love it.
Spotify, iTunes.
Cool. Okay. And he drops bombs on his Instagram stuff, and he's educational. He's fun. So definitely go give him a follow. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
We'll see you later, man.
See ya.
Don't listen to people who lose, or you'll do the same. Stop talking to people who don't give a what you saying. Stop spending your money on weed, go hop on a plane. Stop pointing the finger and start taking some of the blame. Let me put you on game. Control your emotions, most of the time it's really not worth it. Don't be ashamed and beat yourself up for not being perfect.